Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant and I thought it about time to have a fresh start with Elite Dangerous. Horizons has been released for around a month now, so I really wanted to go back to basics and begin the game from the point where a lot of people start at. Starting out in Elite can be a lot of fun, and I've heard a bunch of people starting again or even buying a new account to do so. Unfortunately, Frontier are not going to offer a second character slot, which is something they said, or something they were actually talking about back during the Kickstarter funding, and it's something that many people actually wanted. However, that said, I backed the game very early on and played through beta, where everyone had to start from the beginning again with each new patch release. Now with Horizons, it's a whole new world out there. Some people are not too happy about the planetary landing at the moment, but I feel that given time it will shape up quite nicely. Anyway, let's play Elite from the beginning then. Here's where we name our commander. A lot of people are playing now with over 1.4 million copies sold, so finding a name that isn't already in use by someone may be a bit tricky. Fortunately though, I already have a name in mind. Most people will only have these starting packages. Just the default one if you're only playing the basic version of Elite Dangerous, or the Sidewinder Horizons version, which is obviously included with Horizons. Now some people who backed on Kickstarter to various amounts will also have additional packages. But essentially the difference here is that the original Sidewinder has 4 cargo slots and a few other bits and pieces, and the Horizons Sidewinder has just 2 cargo slots, but it has a vehicle for driving around on the planets with, and it also has the planetary approach suite, which allows you to get down to the surface of planets. The other big difference, of course, is that the new Horizons starting point starts you down on the planetary surface. Here we are in Baker's Prospect. This is our new Sidewinder down in the hangar of this particular settlement. A nice little ship, and it's unfortunate that a lot of people don't stay in it for too long. Anyway, here we are at the bulletin board and we're going to take ourselves a nice mission. This one looks to be a surface salvage opportunity, so we can go out and look for something on the surface of the planet. It looks like we want some surface resonators, whatever they are. So let's get out there and get to it. The planet here that Baker's Prospect is situated on is one very nice looking planet, I actually feel. It's got a lowland sun there. The planet here is tidally locked and it's always facing this exact same location. So whenever you come here, you're going to get this nice view. Now I do use a graphics mod called EDFX, and I'll put a link to that in the video description. I've just switched it off here and you can see what the default colours look like. Slightly more brown, slightly more warmer. Some people may prefer these, and they do in fact actually look quite nice on this particular planet, but I personally prefer the modded colours, and they do make the game look quite a bit sharper. It didn't take too long to find the relevant point of interest. This was actually the first point of interest I landed in, but I made sure that it was outside of the crater that the settlement's within. A lot of the points of interest spawn actually around the edges of the crater, which can make it quite difficult to get to the POI with your SRV, especially if the point of interest is situated on the walls of the crater, which is something that sometimes happens. Anyway, there's the surface resonators that we actually want. So it was time to scan these sentries. They actually turned out to be lawless, so that made it a lot easier to attack them. I could do that without risking a fine. Now something I've actually mentioned before with Horizons is that all players in their SRV will be in the exact same situation. Whether you're a billionaire or a brand new player, your SRV will be exactly the same. It will have the same weapons, it will have the same speed capabilities, it will have the same hull and shield strengths. No players have an advantage whatsoever when it comes to SRVs. Now in the future I'm hoping that's something that does change. Whether the SRVs end up with being upgradable in terms of modules or weapons, or whether we get additional SRVs, which I think has been pretty much confirmed as happening. We really do need some variety out here. But for now, especially for starter players, the SRV is just about perfect, and it's actually a lot of fun to drive. On the approach to the settlement here, you just about get a brief glimpse of the opened heat vents from the Sidewinder, something that happens when you frequently boost with this ship, as it generates quite a lot of heat. I'm actually gonna buy a new power distributor if I can afford it after I've handed this mission in, because that will allow me to boost a lot more frequently. So when people do start out with the new save, there are quite a few missions that we can choose from. Sometimes not too many of them are available, other times quite a lot of them actually are. I decided to do this one as well, simply due to the amount of money that it's offering. That's quite a nice amount of money for a new save, a new character, and will allow me to significantly upgrade the Sidewinder. What's nice here is that the new Sidewinders actually come with gimbaled weapons rather than fixed ones. Now that's something I don't remember on previous Sidewinders, but then again it's been quite a long time since I started fresh again, so maybe gimbaled ones have been in for a while. That's something that I'm sure someone in the comments can let me know about. And here we go, there are some power distributors available, and fortunately there's an A-rated one, which is basically the top rated module I can fit to this ship. Very nice, and I'll see if I can have some thrusters as well. Can't quite afford the best ones, but some C-rated ones will do as well. Now the reason I want to go for them is because travelling over the planets can be a little bit slow when you've got one of the slower ships, so getting faster thrusters and being able to boost more frequently really does make a nice change. Now as I left there, you got to see a Goliath very briefly. Those are the largest skimmers that are actually in the game, and they are more than capable of taking on a Sidewinder and even some of the larger ships, especially if there are multiple ones of them. They will significantly do a terrible amount of damage to your ship and quite possibly even destroy it. In either event, they're much more powerful than the sentries that are guiding these little points of interest. So yet again, this point of interest didn't take long to find, and I'm just about 15 kilometers outside of the settlement. So a quick trip out and a quick trip back, and I'm all the richer for it. Again, I'll be upgrading my ship here, and then we'll be looking for another mission. I'm hoping that this time we can get a mission to attack a planetary base. And there we have a open the gate mission, which is exactly what I'll be looking for. So we'll get to that in just a moment. But first I wanted to hand this mission in, and then once again have a look at the upgrades. Now unfortunately not all settlements, not all outposts or stations have all modules. And I'm going to leave the pulse lasers there because they're actually quite good. But I will increase the size of the power plant. Again, I can't quite afford the best one, but a C-rated one is quite a lot better than what I've got. It allows me to have 8 megawatts of power, which means I can have a better modules in the other slots, like an improved shield perhaps, for example, or even better thrusters. Yeah, we'll go for them. So with travelling around on planets now rather than travelling around in space, the priority of the modules that I actually purchase has changed. I always used to go for an FSD first, allowing me to jump further with each hyper jump. But basically I can stay in a single system much longer now, so I don't really need to do that. En route to the settlement that I was going to actually infiltrate, I did get interdicted. This is the first interdiction for this character, and it's actually the first time for this character in space. Interdictions can sometimes prove to be a little bit difficult because sometimes the rules seem a little bit arbitrary, and if the NPC is caught up in a bit of a lag, you will find that the escape vector will jump from side to side. But on this occasion it went perfectly smoothly and I was able to evade it without any trouble at all, which meant I could carry on my way to my destination. In terms of settlements on planets, those destinations can vary quite dramatically in regards to the lighting surrounding them. You can see here I'm actually on the dark side of the planet, and I flew around it a little bit until I come up to approach the settlement there, which is right on the Terminator, the area where the light side and the dark side of the planet meet each other. That meant for quite a nice ambience because it meant I could infiltrate the base under the cover of darkness. Not that it actually makes any difference because you can see I'm approaching here with my full lights on. This is actually the smallest type of settlement you can actually find. It doesn't really have much, almost nothing in the way of defences, and it's completely wide open. I've still yet to come across a high security zone. I really would like to do a mission on one of them, so maybe that's something I'll try and do in another video. But for now, this one turned out to be very, very simple. I did scan a couple of the hubs located around the outside, but the mission description was telling me to destroy the generator that's powering the settlement. So that meant I actually had to drive in here, up the ramp, and have a look at the various utilities that exist within here. There were a few ground defence turrets here, and at the far end there was also an air defence turret or a ship defence turret, which I decided to destroy while I was actually here. It can't actually fire back, so perhaps it's a little bit unfair, But I had landed fairly close to this settlement, so I wanted to make sure I wouldn't be shot at as I left the place. It didn't take much longer to find the generator here. A few more seconds later, this is what I come across, and it only took a few shots to actually destroy it. The reward for this mission was 150,000 credits, so a nice little bonus, meaning that I'd made over $250,000 in just under 8 hours of play. For now though, that was just enough to be getting on with. It was enough to be able to allow me to significantly upgrade the Sidewinder, and that's something I'll be doing in a later video. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time. Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant. The Great Distant Worlds expedition got underway on Thursday the 14th of January, where over 800 players met in the Pallini system to begin their epic journey across 65,000 light years of space.